You're on record.
We are on record, and it is 7:30. The meeting of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Planning Board for Monday, September 22nd at 7:30 PM. Nor would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Barbario,
Here.
Mr. DiPiero,
Here.
Councilwoman Hernandez, I apologize. Here. Mr. Mealy.
Here.
Mr. Matt,
Present.
Mr. Shaw,
Yep.
Chairman Dinsmore.
Here.
We also have our board planner, Ms. Winter, our board engineer, Mr. Canjiano, and our board attorney, Ms. Steinley.
Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given, that it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 at sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this meeting is open to the general public. Is there anyone here who wishes to bring something to the board's attention that is not on our agenda tonight? Hearing and seeing none, we have a series of resolutions to go through. You've received them all. One of them came a little late, but we'll discuss that before we get to it. And you have a list of who can vote in our packet. Let's start with 2 Sylvan Way. Is there somebody willing to move the motion on the master plan consistency review for 2 Sylvan Way?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adopt the resolution for master plan consistency review of 2 Sylvan Way.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Nora, would you call the roll, please?
Barbario.
Yes.
DiPiero,
Yes.
Mealy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Dinsmore.
Yes. All right, I'm going to jump over to Rutgers Builders, application 24-533, preliminary and final major site plan for a storage building. Is somebody willing to move that one?
I'll move
Thank you, Mr. DiPiero.
24-533.
Do I have a second?
Second. Hernandez.
Very good. Nora, would you call the roll, please?
DiPiero,
Yes.
Hernandez. Yes. Mealy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Dinsmore.
Yes. All right. That leads us to application number 25:509. You only received that later this afternoon. I'd like to have our attorney discuss that a little bit.
So this was a resolution for the Dave's Hot Chicken application. The applicant's attorney had reviewed the draft resolution already and provided some minor edits, just to clarify some of the square footages, and some details about the cooking oil storage at the rear, but otherwise they were just minor comments, nothing substantive.
Do those who can vote here feel comfortable voting on this at this time? Because we only received it this afternoon. All right, very good. Will somebody be willing to move the motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move the adoption of resolution for application number 25:509, Dave's Hot Chicken, minor site plan, conditional use with C variance for fast food restaurant and outdoor cooler on a concrete pad.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Nora, would you call the roll, please?
DiPiero,
Yes.
Hernandez. Yes. Mealy.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Very good. And that gets us through our resolutions.
Chairman, can we,
about-
take care of the minor resolutions? We have 2 people here who can vote.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for Ray Hoon. Right.
There we go. Application number 24-517. Gordon, you're the chairman of the minor committee.
Okay, can I make a motion if I am the chairman, or?
Well, I'm going to ask, just ask for a motion.
I'd like to ask for a motion to approve, application 24-517 from, Someone from the minor committee.
Second, Mealy.
Thank you.
Mealy, Math.
I vote yes.
So you're seconding it as well?
Well, Dominic said he seconded it, so I guess
okay.
I moved it.
That's fine.
And there's only two of us, so.
Right. Nora, would you call the roll, please?
Mealy, Math.
Yes for me. I don't know about you, Dominic.
All right. So we get the Robert's Rules of Order stuff out of the way. That gets us to our agenda, which is Park and Willow Lanes, Block 392, lots 1.01, 1.02, 1.03, 1.04, and 1.05. Master Plan Consistency Review. Do we want to do it this way? We have one member who indicates he can't stick around. You're fine with this? Good. All right, so we call that application at this time.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. Dustin Glass from Semiraro and Farney. I am the Township's Redevelopment Council as well as Affordable Housing Council. The board is here tonight to hear a consistency review on the park redevelopment plan. We have our redevelopment planner, Mr. Snikes, on behalf of Burgess Associates to take the board through the plan, answer any questions regarding the consistency review. And the board should be aware that this redevelopment plan and this site works in conjunction with the housing element because this site is included in that as well. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Snikes and have him be sworn as appropriate.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And then just state your name and address for the record.
Certainly. Edward Snikes. I'm with the firm of Burgess Associates, and they're located at 25 Westwood Avenue in Westwood, New Jersey.
And Mr. Snikes, you've been qualified before this board several times before.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Many times.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. What we're looking at tonight is a redevelopment plan that's for the block and lot numbers that the chairman read out. I'll just do it for the record. Block 392, lots 1.01, 1.02, 1.03, and 1.04, and lot 1.05. And the reason why there's all those individual lots, as this board may remember, is that that tract was subdivided as a part of an earlier subdivision plan and site plan application, which was the former Lanadex Plaza development that's located on Parsippany Road. That development was changed in the 2020 Housing Element Fair Share Plan and resulting zoning to the OVL 3 zone. Portions of that tract were zoned for the OVL 3. Some remained as the RO district as well, the Research Office District. Since that time, of the actual third round housing plan, the governing body, through this planning board as well and involved in the process, designated the area as an area in need of redevelopment. That was the first step in a typical process from the redevelopment and housing law that is involved in a redevelopment area. And the council adopted a resolution identifying the area on September 17, 2019. Since that time, this board had also reviewed that subdivision as well as the site plan and approved the development that's under construction that exists at that site. But if you may recall, that entire site was not included in the entire Lanadex Plaza development area was not included in a overall site plan approval, just a portion of that. I'll address that as phase one of a two-phase project. Since that time, and as we've came to the fourth round cycle of affordable housing, there became a need to reconsider under the state law as it relates to affordable housing and its distribution of need numbers, a way of actually achieving some of the affordable housing need. And so what we had done was to work closely with the governing body as well as the redeveloper to come up with a redevelopment plan that's before you tonight. This redevelopment plan applies to the properties that was just mentioned. What's interesting is that the redevelopment plan identifies two separate areas, two specific, what are called subzones within that area. And the reason for that is that certain parts of the development were under construction already and had been approved by this board in accordance with the OBL 3 zoning. When we're considering some additional zoning and additional changes, what's usually a tool to help with that is to do a subzone designation. So we broke it off into two separate subzones. And one zone is called PC1 overlay, and the second one is called PC2 overlay. The PC2 overlay applies to the townhouses, as you may remember, that were approved as part of that development, and they will be still within the OBL 3 zone that exists. And so that's identified in this document. The remainder of the area that is not included in that OBL 3 zone is going to be now in the PC1 overlay zone. So therefore, that is how this plan helps to break that up. And what is being proposed here is a very comprehensive modifying of that plan. And what we're looking to do is to have a modern mixed-use facility, advance the township's land use and economic goals, also promote a high standard of planning and design, as we had done in the earlier first phase of that project. So this plan looks to promote that, and by doing so, it establishes zoning associated with that PC1 overlay zone. And where we're here for tonight is to review the consistency of this plan to the master plan. And I'll be touching on a few items, but I just first wanted to give you some background and detail associated with the plan. So what we had done was prepared this plan and identified the specific components that's part of a redevelopment plan, identified its relationship to other plans, which I'll talk about the master plan in a moment. But also in addition to that, this document also has in section 5, redevelopment plan details that are specific zoning requirements that are going to be applicable to the PC1 zone once this redevelopment plan is adopted. So it's been introduced by the mayor and council, and it's been sent to this board for review for consistency. And in that, the goals and objectives are very, I think, high objectives to be achieved. Integrated mixed-use center that includes commercial, retail, and office. Also a mixed-use development that provides a distinctive identity and character to the Parsippany Road corridor as a key center for the community. Also create architectural and site plans surrounding the Lenadex Boulevard. Now, I believe it's been changed since then. Public space corridor, promote an attractive greenway and sense of place. That's that central street if you've been at the site recently. Also a realistic opportunity for the development of low and moderate income housing, and that's one of the key features and keystone features associated with the project. Enhance residential and commercial activity to complement the commercial and office uses of the Parsippany Road corridor. Also smart growth and environmentally friendly principles, and minimize use of resources and energy in maximizing opportunities for open space, buffers, and minimizing potential environmental impacts. Also establish interconnected street networks with respect to the physical and natural landscape. The idea of environmentally friendly and environmentally sustainable features is something being achieved through the new construction, the new buildings. If you remember when they came in for the site plan, which I was not here for, but what I've seen in the information that's available in the development, is that they do things to make the buildings more energy efficient. They develop a mixed-use center so people would not have to get in their cars, things of that nature, in order to promote those features. And that goes hand in hand with some of the objectives of the master plan. And that's the reason why I'm touching on those features at this time. In this development, it actually proposes the increase in the number of units in order to achieve the affordable housing. It will be an increase of an additional 970 units within that development. And that would be a total of 1,570 units, and 20% will be set aside for affordable housing. That'll be 314 units that'll come from this development. And that is a key feature to not only the fourth round, but also the third round, when we did have any gaps in the third round RDP solutions due to certain sites that did not come to fruition. But also it provides for ways of addressing what's called unmet need, which is part and parcel of the RDP and the overall need for the third round. In addition, the zoning calls for 20,000 square feet of commercial area, in addition to the, I think it's 9,000, about 9,000 square feet in the first phase. The development will be developed around structured and surface parking. The structured parking is configured in such a way, if you look at some of the concepts within the plan, such that the buildings are wrapping around the parking structures so that they're not readily visible, and you're featuring buildings and storefronts along the streets. In addition to that, there's also a distinctive town center arrangement that we're maintaining and I think enhancing by this development. There are other goals and objectives of the master plan that are being furthered, and I'll just touch on those real quickly for the record. And this is from the 2020 master plan. We had a little bit of a typo in this report. I kept the word re-examination report in there. It should have been master plan. I wanted to point that out on sheet 6. So anything I'm referencing is regarding the master plan of 2020. One thing would be obviously the promotion of the creation of affordable housing opportunities. The second one is a goal to provide a variety of housing types, which is not only the affordable housing, but also the mixed use and the other market rate units that are being provided, which provide a different type of housing type for the community, whether it be for young families or empty nesters who may want a different type of living arrangement. In addition to that, on goal 5, preserve and enhance the township's retail corridor, appropriate research and professional office areas by implementing land use strategies that respond to the modern market and real estate trends. In addition, what was also identified in the master plan is the ways of this redevelopment area helps to transition an obsolete or a development that's going into obsolescence. The original Lanadex office park was built back in the 1970s, 1980s. And since that time, this development or that development type has become somewhat of a older development characteristic. In addition to that, with the onset of the internet, as well as COVID, and people working from home, there is a reduced need for the office market. So this is helping to transition that aspect of the existing office market that Parsippany currently has. And what this is a way of transitioning that, and possibly even, as I've mentioned before, strengthening some of the office developments that currently exist and making them more profitable and desirable for the overall market in the community. So that is one of the benefits under the master plan. Just further, just as far as it relates to the Highlands Council regulations, as you know, we have that as well that relates to Parsippany. We are obviously a planning area within the Highlands Regional Master Plan. This redevelopment area specifically would be part of it's identified as the existing community zone. And what the Highlands has done is identified that as an area of existing development. And what they have in their master plan is recommendations to promote the redevelopment of those areas within the communities. So therefore, we're looking to further and enhance that effort and not have further impact to the environmental constraints within the area. Just real quickly touching on some of the design standards. If you remember some of the OVL standards and you compare them to the new bulk standards for the PC1 zone, you'll see that the maximum building tract coverage is at 35%. That's the same as the OVL district was, as well as the maximum impervious of the tract is 60%, and that's the same as the prior OVL zone. So you can see even with this increase in density, we haven't increased the level of coverage from the standpoint of stormwater infiltration and stormwater runoff. So I wanted to point that out to the board as well. We've also maintained the setbacks and the buffer requirements to adjacent residential areas and provided regulated criteria. What's associated with this development is mixed use using townhouses as well as stacked townhouses, which are a different product type, as well as multifamily buildings. And the multifamily buildings that are being proposed that are part of this will be at 7 stories. Currently, right now, the existing buildings are at 6 stories. We are going to 7 stories, but what's unique about this property, and I think the arrangement that the developer is going to be seeking, is placing some of those taller buildings closer to Route 287 and Route 80, so that they have a transitional effect through the development of the overall character of the community, such that it doesn't have the visual impact to adjacent single-family homes that you might expect a building right up to the single-family homes would have. So that is something that's worked into the plan, is that physical relationship to those areas, and it looks to promote those features. The parking standards are relatively the same with with the use of a shared parking approach, so that will have to be brought back to this board. After this redevelopment plan is adopted, what would happen is the developer would seek another site plan approval from this board. They would come back to you for further review and approval. At that time, of course, you would be reviewing the traffic and things of that nature to make sure those specific features are being addressed, or if there's off-track improvements that are required as part of that. In addition, in this plan, because of the density increase that's being proposed, the developer is showing another access drive of just an egress and ingress, a right turn in or right turn out, that would occur further towards I would think that's towards the west, towards the north of the tract, closer to Route 287.
Sycamore Lane.
What's that?
Sycamore Lane.
Sycamore Lane, yes. And so therefore, that is helpful to, I think, alleviate and disperse some of the traffic. We did have the board's engineer take a look at the traffic study that was developed by the applicant, and they feel that they've looked at appropriate criteria, but obviously they have further questions that would probably come out during the site plan review in this application. So I just wanted to give the board all that background. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm finding that it's consistent substantially with the master plan, including the master plan that has a component of it, which is the housing element fair share plan. We are promoting that, filling some voids from the third round, as well as addressing some of the fourth round, as well as providing unmet need on this site. So it's really hitting a bunch of key issues that we need to address in order to maintain our compliance with the affordable housing statutes of the state. Thank you.
Members of the board have questions of Mr. Snakis,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Neely?
question for Mayor Barbario. We've always had a 6-story limit, as long as I can remember. Mr. Snakis just mentioned 7. Has something changed that we're not aware of?
No, nothing's changed, it's just that's what they're requesting.
In this position, what they've asked for is 7 stories, but they're not going higher than 70 feet. But they're also going to have provisions that would accommodate 65 feet.
Right.
So for the fire department and the fire access, they can access the 65 feet with their normal vehicles.
So height-wise, it's not an issue?
It's not an issue from that standpoint, but I would reserve the further discussion of that at the appropriate time at site plan,
Thank you.
obviously.
Yes.
Other questions by members of the board? Well, I'm just going to say that when we get to site plan, I'm going to be very interested in the circulation element. I'm going to be very interested. Personally, I think if there's any place in this town where we could put a 7-story building that meets the fire department's requirements for height, that's it. That's one spot where I don't think it's going to end up being an eyesore or causing people to say, holy crap.
Because of the topography and its proximity.
So those are things that when we get to site plan, I'm going to be very interested in. Also, obviously, very much interested in open space. And I think the fact that you get the 7-story buildings makes it easier to meet the open space requirements.
As well as, remember, if you look at the standards, we call for certain setbacks of the upper stories. That provides at least some relief along the street as it relates to the height.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions by members of the board? Christine, do you have any,
No, I don't.
Andrew, anything that you wish to add?
No.
All right. The members of the public who have any questions of this witness on this testimony at this time? Hearing and seeing none. Anything else you want to add?
I would just submit that based on Mr. Snikes' testimony, that he submits that the plan as proposed is consistent with the master plan, and I would ask the board to proceed accordingly. That's all I have to add.
Okay, any members of the public have any comments on this at this time? Hearing and seeing none. I declare the evidentiary portion of this hearing closed. I guess we go to a motion to say we find that this plan is consistent with the master plan. So do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to say that we find this, I'll make a motion that we find this plan consistent with the master plan.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Very good. Mayor Barbario, Nora, would you call the roll, please?
Barbario,
Yes.
Piero,
Yes.
Hernandez, yes, Neely,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Dinsmore.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry to bring you back from Oregon.
No worries, sorry about the confusion.
Had to bring it back then.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
I gotta have,
Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here for that.
sorry about that. I have something personal I gotta.
Next on our agenda is application number 24:527, Sarab Shah. I think I got that close to right. 76 Alexander Avenue, Block 393, Lot 20, Zone R3, preliminary and final major site, final subdivision with C variance and major soil moving permit for a two-lot subdivision with a cul-de-sac right-of-way extension. Hello.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, council, professionals, attorney Rosemary Stone Dougherty with the law firm of A.Y. Strauss, here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Sarab Shah. You pronounced it very well, probably better than I did. And your summary is correct. You're here tonight on a two-lot major subdivision for the property known as 76 Alexander Avenue, also known as Block 393, Lot 20 in the R3 zone. With me tonight, I only have one professional, but he's wearing all the hats. I have with me Mr. Frederick C. Miola. He's going to be our professional engineer and also do the professional planner testimony when needed, because our argument is going to be the C2 variance relief for the minor variances needed. With that being said, I know Mr. Miola's been in front of this board many more times than I have, but if we could have him sworn in, and then Chairman, if you'd like to stick to his credentials, or I can wire him.
I always like to have the credentials go on the record.
Absolutely. So we'll have him sworn in
Please raise your
first.
right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Please state your name and address for the record.
Frederick C. Miola, M-E-O-L-A, 28 Whippany Road, Whippany, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Mr. Miola, if you can talk loud while you're constructing over there,
Yeah,
can you just give,
Yes.
by way of background, where you received your education and what licenses you hold? And if you've testified in front of municipal boards, planning boards, and zoning boards, and most importantly, if all your licenses are current as of this evening?
The answer is all my licenses are current. I've been before this board more times than I want to admit, because it makes me feel old. I'm a licensed professional engineer, land surveyor, planner. I'm a certified floodplain manager and a certified floodplain surveyor. And all those licenses are still current and still active.
Any questions on the qualifications by members of the board? Hearing and seeing none. Counselor, we do have some waivers that we need to talk about.
Yes.
All right. Start Appendix A, number 12, in regards to either a letter of interpretation from the DEP, an exemption, a copy of an application, or document from qualified professional demonstrating that none exist. The applicant did provide a wetlands assessment and delineation report by PK Environmental stating that no DEP permits or waivers are required if no disturbances are proposed within the 50-foot buffer. We don't have an objection to the waiver request now, but we would like to make the LOI a condition of approval. On Appendix A-16, they're requesting a waiver from the Highlands exemption determination. They don't actually qualify for a municipal exemption determination, so they do need to make an application to the Highlands Council, and that would need to be a condition of the approval. Form 6, numbers 25 and 26 for the traffic study and environmental assessment. Waiver request is stating that the property used to have a single-family residential dwelling and is located in a mature single-family residential neighborhood, and the application is proposing 2 lots to construct 2 new single-family dwellings and only netting, excuse me, 1 new single-family dwelling. So we don't have a objection to that waiver request, provided that testimony is provided on the effects of the proposed conditions. On Form 7, number 7, lot numbers assigned by the tax assessor and street address assigned by the post office. While proposed lot numbers are indicated on the plan, the tax assessor has provided a letter stating the proposed numbers. That should all be updated as necessary as a conditional approval. Number 9, information sufficient to demonstrate that all the conditions of the preliminary approval have been satisfied as a combined preliminary and final. It's not really applicable, no objection. Number 11 is a certification from the town engineer as to the plat's compliance with the provisions of map filing law and all applicable township ordinances and requirements, and that's fine. We would defer that to resolution compliance unless Andrew has any specific issues.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
In regards to the certification from the town engineer, the plat's compliance with the provisions of the map filing law.
No, we don't have any comments.
Number 12, statement from the town engineer that they've received the map, shown all the utilities, etc. Again, the same comment that it would be deferred as part of resolution compliance. 13, when approval of the plat is required by an officer or agency of the township, county, or state, approval shall be referenced and certified on the plat, also like as a condition of resolution compliance. 14, a combined preliminary and final approval is requested, submit separate sheets. Where only a combined sheet was submitted, we don't have any objection there. And Form 10, number 12, new building, expansion of existing buildings, our proposed floor plans. We did not receive floor plans. Applicant has asked for a testimony that the buildings will be compliant or will request any additional relief. And that is all.
All right, do I have a motion approving the waivers requested in the ARH memo of, what's that, 10-7?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
a motion to approve the waivers as described.
do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none.
It's September 4th.
September 4th, okay, sorry.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Winter and Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
With that being said, Mr. Miola, before you get started, can you please confirm the date of the plan that you have up on your easel to make sure it matches the date that's in all of the board members' packets?
Everybody should have plans dated 7/24/25, revision number 4.
I got revision 1.
Revision 1.
1.
Yeah, okay, ours are dated 8/8/24.
Right, on this 8th, right, 2024.
Yeah, that's the first plan. There's been 4 revisions since.
All right, so we'll mark the updated set as Exhibit A1.
Our office did review a 7/24/25 plan.
Right, 7/24/2025 is the last revised, which is what you said, correct, Fred?
Yes,
The 8/8 is 2024.
yes, the 8/8 is the first
Right.
one.
And then on the side, it should have the revision dates.
You should
Yeah.
have revisions on there.
Yeah, we only have 1 revision on my plan, my set.
So we'll just mark, I understand that the professionals had seen it, but the board hadn't, so we'll just mark this as Exhibit A1.
A1,
It's a set of 3 or no,
4 pages.
it's 4
4 pages.
That's one of the reasons why we had to have a new revision date, to add more details.
Okay, 4 sheets, prepared by your office and with the last revised date being 7/24/25.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Fred, can you please go through what the existing conditions are and then what is proposed?
Yes, if you look at sheet 1, The existing conditions are the upper right-hand corner of the drawing. The lot is vacant. The topography is such that it pitches from Alexander Drive to the east towards Route 280, and then goes into that wetlands area and into a ditch that is out in that vicinity.
And roughly how large is the lot, Fred?
The lot is 38,920 square feet, and the zoning is 15,000.
And just for the record, as Ms. Winters indicated, was there previously anything on the lot in the past?
I didn't see it personally, but I understand there was an older house on this property which was taken down.
So there was a single-family detached dwelling that was
Yes.
raised?
Yes.
And then,
From an old survey I have by D'Onofrio's Morris County Engineering Company, 7/9/64, that house was constructed. When it came down, I don't know.
and what is being proposed with this application?
The proposal is to subdivide the property into 2 lots, constructing 2 new homes and constructing a cul-de-sac coming off the road. The main reason for the cul-de-sac is to get the road frontages and the other necessary requirements. So the only variance that this subdivision is requesting is the lot width at the setback line. The ordinance is 100 feet, and lot 20.01, you would think I should know my plans. 20.01 is the lot to the south, is at 93.5, and 20.02, which is the lot to the north, is at 89.1. They both have more than 100 foot of frontage. They both have more than 15,000 square feet, and the homes that are going to be constructed will meet with all the setback requirements.
So just to make the record clear, with the exception of the minimum lot width for each lot, there would be no additional variance relief required?
That is correct.
You had an opportunity to review the GPI memo of August 28th, 2025, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And I just want to go through a couple of the comments that the engineer stated. Some of them also mirror some of the requests for the waivers. On page 2, Mr. Miola, item number 1, verifying that each of the comments in here will be addressed. We can stipulate we're going to do that now, correct?
Yes.
Item number 2 was an application for a major soil permit. Did you receive a response back from Mr. Lizza, the municipal engineer, regarding the major soil moving application?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, and would that be dated August 14th, 2025?
I trust that was the date, yes. Okay, yes.
And does he advise if he has any objections to the major soil moving permit being requested?
No.
Item 3, this has to do with the waiver, and you heard Ms. Winters' position that if this application were to be approved, as a condition of approval, it would be requested that an LOI be filed with NJDP to be able to verify the wetlands limit line and the buffer. And then there's also a request in here about putting some type of delineation to make sure that any future home or homeowner does not transgress into the wetlands area. Can you
Yes.
please comment on those?
Yeah, that's a very common request from towns, just to make sure that the wetlands doesn't get disturbed in the future after the client sells it. And what most towns suggest, and I think works fine because it looks attractive and it doesn't stand out, is just a wooden split rail fence along that buffer line that they have to stay out of.
Okay, and then otherwise, as far as the LOI,
Yeah, I mean, if there's a request for the LOI, it's fine. We're nowhere near the wetlands, we're nowhere near the wetlands buffer with any other construction. So it's the board's request that we have to go to the state, we'll go to the state and get it approved.
okay. Number 4, Fred, the concern regarding the calculations, not including the, water off of the cul-de-sac.
Yes, we will have to modify it to accommodate the water off the cul-de-sac. My thinking is probably another dry well in the front, because we're only talking about a bubble, you know. We're only talking about the circle, that's all it is. There's no additional water coming off of the site from there, and we can accommodate it. You know, we had, originally when this project started, we had looked at it a couple of ways for the client. And the client opted to do this because it minimized the variances. We had also considered not putting in the cul-de-sac and taking the lot line straight out. What it does is creates 2 additional variances, because we do not have the required width at the street line. 2 lots would be 50 feet on each side of the street line, plus the width at the setback line. That's the downside to it. The plus side to it was it took the houses and moved them closer to Alexander. I don't want to say it put them at the setback line, it moved them to be about 85 to 95 feet off of the street. You know, that was the second option, and the client said, I want to go as minimal variance as possible, which is why we went to the cul-de-sac.
Okay, and then what about the, requirement to install the street lighting? I understand that you updated your detail to include a fixture.
Yep, and we will contact Jersey Central, because that was the details that they forwarded to me. So if there's a newer detail, I trust Tom is correct. They're gonna have to supply it to me so I can add it, but we will do whatever we have to make it comply.
Number 6 is comment on street trees, but I do not recall receiving anything from the township forester. Are we proposing any street trees at this time, Mr. Miola?
I haven't seen anything from the town forest either. Other than the standard street trees around the cul-de-sac that are required, we're not proposing anything else.
But you do show the street trees around the
Yes.
cul-de-sac, correct?
Yes, we show 2 different varieties. We show black ash, and we show a linden.
And you'll coordinate with the township forester to just make sure that
Yes,
those are
absolutely.
acceptable? Okay.
We'd be happy to work with them. And I take back what I said. We have a couple of sweet bay magnolias along the back edge of the buffer for the wetlands.
Okay, and then, item 7A, update to provide the township standard pavement detail. We can stipulate to that, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Item 7B, the dry well detail notes the dry well to be 10 feet diameter, but is dimensioned at 6.5 feet.
it's, and it could be just in a confusion, and I couldn't get a hold of Tom today. The dry well itself is 10 feet, including the stone. The pits that we suggested are 6.5 feet wide, so you got 6.5 foot concrete ring that fills up with water, and then outside that, you have 3.5, whatever 3.5 is, 1.75 on each side of that filled with stone, and then fabric outside of that that'll wrap around it to keep dirt from getting in there.
Okay. And then 7C, we touched on again, and that is getting the most up-to-date JCP&L, like details for the, correcting the,
Yes.
detail sheet, correct?
Yes, they were nice enough to send me a whole manual, but obviously they made a change that we didn't know about.
Now, under section 8, there are recommended conditions. Most of these obviously could be, in fact, all of them could be stipulated to, correct, Fred? But we wanted to touch on briefly 8D, which was the comment on a deed restriction on each of the two new parcels, acknowledging that any impervious surface in excess of what is shown on the approved plan would be subject to review by the township engineer as a major development for stormwater design.
Yes. I'm not a big fan of deed restrictions. As being a surveyor, I know the problem it creates for me whenever we do a survey. And if somebody's got to do an improvement on this property, they have to come back to the engineering department for them to review it, and hopefully at that time it would got picked up. So I prefer not to have a deed restriction, but I'll do whatever the board wishes.
Mr. Mueller, one of the options discussed was possibly recording the resolution of approval, correct?
Yes.
And making a note on the major final plat that would be signed, indicating that the resolution is a public document, correct?
Yes, you know, or the note could be put on the final calculated map itself, so that anybody who buys it, any title company is going to see it on the map and put a restriction about expanding without getting approvals.
And thus, that also creates the restriction of record, correct?
Yes.
Other than that, everything else, A, B, C, E, F, G, H, and I are all stipulated to, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and we already touched on Mr. Lizza's memo of 814, and I believe Ms. Winter was kind enough to go through in somewhat of detail of the waivers in the memo from ARH of September 4th. So that leaves us with Mr. Miola explaining the negative and positive criteria for the C2 variances being proposed.
Yeah, I don't see this subdivision at this location as a detriment to the neighborhood. We're talking about a lot that is 38 or 39,000 square feet in a 15,000 square foot zone, well in excess of what's required. As you can see, the homes will fit very nicely on the cul-de-sac around it. We're not talking about squeezing in a home in any way. Even with the other option that we had, we would just take the homes and move them closer to the road a little bit, but the same homes would fit into the lots. So as far as negative impact, the only negative impact would be the width at the road, the width at the setback line, which is, in my mind, de minimis. We're talking about 10 to 11 feet. I have trouble driving down a road, looking at it and saying that lot is 10 foot smaller than all the other ones on the street. You know, we're not talking about a big deviation here.
And just to be clear, Fred, it's really only proposed lot 20.02, that would be at 10.9 feet, and then proposed lot 20.01 would really be at 6.5 feet.
Yes, yes.
Is it your testimony that under the municipal land use law 40:55D2, that the goals C, E, G, and I would be advanced under the purposes here?
Yes, I would think so. We're taking a piece of property that's excessively large, probably the largest one in the whole neighborhood, and creating two lots that are closer to keeping with the ordinance. Many of the lots out here are 15,000 square feet, plus or minus a couple of square feet. These two lots are both going to be, I believe, 16 and 18,000 square feet, if I remember correctly.
Fred, proposed lot 2001 is 15,150 square feet, correct?
Yes.
And proposed-
15,130 and 15,664. That's why I had to get up and look. I'm getting older, I can't keep it all in my head.
Thank you, Mr. Miola. Is there anything else you want to add to your testimony?
No, I think it's a good application. I think it's a nice plan. I think it's going to fit well in this neighborhood.
All right. Actually, I'm going to turn to our engineer and ask Mr. Canjiano if he has any thoughts on this. I haven't seen anything quite like this before, so.
Yeah, I've seen some of them where they just make an eyebrow, just half the circle to get the frontage you need. I tried that, and that didn't sit well.
Let's start with the soil movement application and go back to Mr. Liz's letter. Seems to me there was a significant amount of missing information. Maybe you were prepared now, you can provide the information on soil movement that he said that was not included, just where we can get it on the record.
I'm looking at Ms. Justin Lisa's comments.
Like number 2, the applicant does not specify the volume of soil to be removed.
Well, the calculations are 1,365 cubic feet of soils proposed to be moved. Some of them obviously will stay on site, but I would say more than half of it is going to have to be trucked off.
So how much do you estimate will be trucked off?
See if I can find my counts. Thank you. Okay, yep. Okay, what we have is between the foundations, the grading, and the road work, we're coming up with 436 cubic yards of cut for the road, 811 cubic yards of cut for the homes, and 850 cubic yards of fill based on the grading, which comes out to a net difference of 515 cubic yards, or about 18 trucks.
Yes. And what duration, when do you anticipate this work being done?
I apologize, because I got to read my report better. 30 truckloads are going to be taken out. We're estimating 10 trucks a day for 3 days.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. All right, so that was soil movement. I don't know if, it seemed like, just for the board, especially since the current plans, the board has the original plans, and there's been 4 revisions that went on. So let's make sure the board understands what you're proposing as far as the lot configuration, the proposed roadway, cul-de-sac. I think, just if you could explain that in a little bit more detail, what you're proposing.
And just so we're clear, even Plan Set Revision 1 has the bulk cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So the board has never seen an alternate plan, as you heard Mr. Neola say, he had looked at with the client. So all variations of the plan substantially are the same. The differences with the resubmissions was addressing various completeness comments throughout the process.
Yeah, I mean, one of the revisions of the plan, so that's I remember correctly, Mr. Lemanowitz wanted soil tests done, verifying. We did do tests in the rear. I'm looking at sheet 2, I believe, has it. Yeah, I think 2 has it. And you have the soil logs of what's on the property. We did the test on them, and the soils at the lower levels came back K3, which is perfect middle road soil. Not too fast, not too slow. K3, if I remember correctly, is like 1.5 inches.
Fred, while you're looking at that though, not to put.
So again, for the board's use, the plan has a public roadway component, a public right-of-way component of this cul-de-sac bulb.
Yes.
Okay. Impervious surface, going back condition, going back to the comment on the deed restriction, we feel that's actually very important. Can you give testimony on if you're a major development or not regarding new impervious surface?
Yeah, I don't believe we're a major development. Obviously, if we are, we'll have to comply with the major development requirements, which would just trigger probably some type of small groundwater recharge in the front where the bubble kicks out to take care of the road.
So as you have it calc'd, you're just under a major development, which is fine. The issue is if you develop the lot to what's allowed by zoning, you're then in violation of you're kicked into a major development, and you need to do major stormwater management, which is, I don't know if you've been familiar with the current rules. There's nothing little or simple about stormwater management anymore.
No.
So it is a monumental undertaking. With that being said, we feel that any buyer, owner, new lot owner in perpetuity will need to be cognizant that there are impervious coverage limits based on your calculations, not based on zoning. And that's why I feel it's important for the deed restriction.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons why my suggestion was to put it right on the final calculated map. So everybody, whoever gets this property, everyone buys it, the title company is going to put that restriction right in there in their title report.
I think it's safer to have it in the deed so that every homeowner and every title search has the deed and doesn't need to be looking at the map.
Either way,
Okay.
the deed or the map, or both. My suggestion would be both.
Yes, actually, ours as well, so that when zoning sees this and construction office in town approving the lot grading plans, it's clear when they reference this subdivision plan, they know the limitations as well.
Yes.
And to the forester comment, yeah, thank you for the condition that to coordinate with the forester, see if there's any feedback on the planting schedule. I think that was, and you mentioned you will go for the LOI as required by state rules.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have.
Members of the board have any questions on this? Mr. Meth?
Yeah, I got about, I guess, two different ones. The first is the wetlands.
Yes.
So you say there's some wetlands off the property.
Yes. The wetlands is off the property on the 287 right-of-way, but the buffer extends onto the property. That's why the suggestion was putting the fence along the edge of the buffer so you don't disturb the 50-foot restriction from the wetlands.
Okay, but it definitely encroaches on the property.
Unfortunately, yes. Unless you want me to lie.
Well, you're under oath, so I'm assuming you're not lying, but.
No, I'm only kidding about that. It is
okay.
what it is.
And how do you know that it's intermediate resource value?
John Peel, PK Environmental, this is what they do for a living. That's why I called them when the issue came up. They were nice enough to come out. They did their little soil test with their auger, determined where the wetlands was, and I have confidence in them. I've worked with them for years, and they delineated the wetlands, and then he said it's going to be a 50-foot buffer, so we offset 50 feet from there, and that's how we came up with the lines you see. Yeah.
Well, is that on your plan, your revised
Yes.
plans? They're definitely not on the version we have.
Oh, it may not have been on the original one. That may have been one of the things that was added.
So how much is encumbered?
Wetlands is A1, 2, 3, and 4, which are about 5 feet or so off of the property.
So 45 feet into the property?
Off of the clear into the 287 right away.
Okay.
And then the wetlands buffer is here. It's this corner.
Okay.
Up in the northeast corner of the property.
All right.
It's the only wetlands that's out there.
So it leaves 20 to 30 feet on that one backyard, once you exclude the wetlands area.
So, but the Highlands requires more of a buffer, don't they?
Highlands requires a 300-foot buffer from open waters.
Oh, open waters.
Yeah, no,
And, yeah, how they define open waters is not how we think of open waters. But they would need to go get a Highlands approval as part of this.
Right.
all right. So getting the whole cul-de-sac thing. I mean, so it's only to get around
To eliminate,
a variance
Two
for
variances.
basically lot width, like, or frontage width, rather.
Right, it's to
Yeah.
minimize variances.
It changes-
Not to get around it, but to minimize.
So it
variances.
changes absolutely nothing, except for basically putting about 5,000 square feet of impervious surface, plus or minus, and dedicating it to the town, so we have more road to look after,
yes, the town is gonna have to maintain the road for like.
all for two homes,
Pardon?
all for two homes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I anticipated this question. I knew somebody was going to ask it. I did bring copies of the sketch that we had done originally without the cul-de-sac, if you'd like to see it.
Well, I guess my biggest question, and I'm seeing a few nodding heads as I ask this, so. What would be the lot width? What are the lot widths on that, plan without the cul-de-sac? I guess you're required to have 66 feet of frontage.
Yeah.
You will probably have 50 feet,
Yeah,
I'd
you'll have
imagine.
50 foot at the
On both
street
of them.
line, because the ordinance says you have to have 66 feet at the street
Okay.
line, and then 100 at the setback line.
Okay,
We would have 50 feet at the street line, and then I need my reading glasses. At the setback line, we would have approximately 60 feet, and then it gets wider, and the houses would still sit back further than the 40-foot required, yes.
would the houses be more or less the same location or different location?
They would come forward about 25, 30 feet. They'd probably come forward to about where the cul-de-sac bubble is, maybe a little bit past the bubble. So you can move the houses forward. Based on the calculation we did with the new house, we got, one house is 82 to 85 feet off of the cul-de-sac, off of the curve in Alexander, and the other one is shown as 102 feet off of the curve. But on the second one, because my guy put something together quickly for me, I think if that house is rotated, we could slide it forward even more, maybe another 5 to 10 feet. So the difference is 4 variances versus 2 variances for the 2 lots.
And again, the advantages are bringing the houses forward, right?
Yes,
And eliminating, constructing a right-of-way that would be dedicated to the town. It also changes the application from a major subdivision to a minor subdivision, which is also more advantageous. And it also, I'm maybe getting ahead of myself, and I'll defer to your engineers, may help on the concerns with the deed restriction.
It would help with that. I don't know that it changes from a minor to a major, because you still have variances, but
Right.
it does improve the
Apologize,
application.
forgot I'm in Parsippany for a minute. Yes, that is true, that is
And-
true.
By the way, the existing footprint of the house is on the tax map, it's on your plans, so at least we know it was there when the tax maps were made.
oh, on the existing home. That was
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
And there's still a visible driveway off of
Yeah,
there
and a
too.
curb cut, yeah.
yeah, because when I drove it this afternoon, there was no 76, so kind of threw me off a little bit, but that's really my main question. I mean, the bottom line is, yeah, this cul-de-sac doesn't make a lot of sense to me for the interest of the town. It's just more of a, like, plowing that would be such a pain.
Well, it's going to be a maintenance issue for the town for as long as the cul-de-sac is there, you know. So if an additional variance could be granted, then we can eliminate the cul-de-sac. That's what it boils down to. And like I said, my client was trying to minimize what he was going to ask for.
But he's adding other problems. There's an awful lot that's being added over and above, you're talking about a fairly modest variance.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, since Mr. Miola prepared, enough sets for the board members to look at as well as the professionals, I would like to propose that we could mark into Exhibit A2 and show the alternative sketch. If
I
Mr.
think I would
Chairman-
love to see the alternative sketch.
Thank you. So Fred, while you're passing it out, this is called Conceptual Sketch for 76 Alexander Avenue. It's one page, and it's dated today, council, 9/22.
So we have the right version.
Yeah, that's
We have the only version.
This is,
And a zoning table.
and,
Yes, I requested that for you.
yeah, and you can see what I was saying, that if we look at the house on lot 2002, if my office guy had taken it and rotated it so that the side of the house is on the required setback on the south side, that house could slide forward more. Because
What
I
would
give-
that do to your soil moving?
It will reduce the soil movement too.
Mr. Miola, just so we're clear though, I'm jumping ahead there, what would be the lot sizes if the alternate conceptual sketch were to be approved?
Lot 2001 would be 17,972 square feet, and lot 20.02 would be 20,900 square feet, because we pick up the area that the cul-de-sac is in.
And as you testified, that would allow both of the homes to be brought forward approximately somewhere between 20 and 25 feet than what is currently being shown, correct?
I don't know, that's a good
Let me
question.
do this, because the question keeps,
Getting asked.
I mean, Fred, I would think it's even further since they're 40 feet off the cul-de-sac, but.
Mr. Mueller, one last question though. These houses you're showing on here, I mean, this is an assumption that the houses are gonna be as wide as they are.
Well, this is the houses that the client has picked out to put on the lots.
Oh, okay.
So,
So-
unless somebody, like in
So
all
they
instances,
intend to
unless
build
somebody
houses with
comes
this
along
footprint.
and makes them an offer he can't refuse and sells the lot,
Okay.
these houses are the ones that are gonna build it.
So, okay, so these houses is the footprint of what is intended to be built on this?
But,
Yes.
These houses are the footprint of what you're intending to
Yes.
build? Okay. As opposed to normally, if we're doing a subdivision, we just have a conceptual, right? And the builder takes the lot and puts a house on it.
If we were to request that they do the alternate plan, I would want to make sure that there's some sort of buffering or no windows on the side facing the other neighbors' backyards, because these houses are well into the backyards of the neighbors.
The applicant
That
would
is a
have
good
no
point.
issue with that.
yeah, and just to answer the question before that, I wanted to check. It would take the homes and move them probably 25 feet to 30 feet closer to Alexander and still comply.
What's the width of the houses? It looks like they're slightly different configurations.
Yeah, he had picked two different houses not to be the same on both lots.
Looks like it's about a 55-foot width on the one.
I apologize, I grabbed my scale and I got a scale that's 10, 20, 30, and 50, and I need a 30. So just give me a second.
You have them dimensioned on your proposed condition plan. Looks like about, the main section is about 32, and then 22 for, I guess that's the garage area.
I don't have a 30.
So the smaller rectangle is a garage?
Yes, the small rectangle is the garage on both.
Well, that solves the problem of the neighbors on one side.
Yeah.
You couldn't invert the house on the other one, where the garage is closer to the neighbor?
It's possible. I may be able to flip it over and put the two garages opposite each other.
Yeah, like to put the garages on the ends so that
Yep.
it's garages next to neighbors, not houses,
Oh, yeah, either way.
neighbors'
This
backyards.
way, so no windows on those sides.
Yeah, we could do that. That's not a problem.
Could be a consideration to make the house a narrower width, to pull them more toward the front of the property?
The house, while it's a nice house, it's the client's concern that he wants to have a house for sale, so he wants to put about a 3,000 square foot house. So making the house smaller, I'd have to check with him.
Okay.
Well, it could be squarer or deeper.
Yeah, or maybe clip a corner and put another piece in the back or something. Yeah,
But I personally don't object to the fact, I mean, if you're gonna have the garage on the side with no windows and any sort of buffering, the fact that you're in the neighbor's backyard doesn't matter as much.
And they'll be, with this version, they would be more forward than
Yes.
the previous version anyway.
Yeah.
It'd
Yeah.
definitely be more in people's backyard, with the cul-de-sac.
Other members of the board have questions on this alternate plan?
I like the alternate plan.
I do too.
No questions down here?
I absolutely like the alternate plan. I mean, less impervious space and less for the town to take care of.
Well,
Always works for me.
I was not gonna be happy about voting for the cul-de-sac, so. This makes me much happier.
We appreciate that, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and I'm sure the client does as well. Again, sometimes you move too far ahead in what you think, but it still doesn't end up being the right way to go.
Right. Right, so you're going to be willing to modify your plan to have this be the new plan, and that this is what we're going to vote on?
Yes.
Okay. Just so that we're all very clear about that.
And that would take it from a major to a minor subdivision.
Well, if you have variances, it's still a major.
Yeah.
Oh.
Parsippany, it's automatically a major.
I must have missed that line.
Yeah, he said that before.
Does that
I'm sorry.
impact the soil moving?
Yes, it would reduce the soil improvement by at least 300 to 400 cubic yards, because that's how much was in the road. So that would take the numbers down.
And that also reduces the, concern about being just below the number on the major stormwater, because the lots are now substantially larger and there's less improvement being done.
The county had some comments regarding stormwater management too, so obviously need to be resubmit and whatever they have to say about the new plans would be conditioned.
When I spoke to Mike over at the county, alternate was the preference as well.
Okay. Any other thoughts or comments from the board before I ask if there are any public comments? Hearing and seeing none, are there any members of the public who have questions on this testimony at this time? Hearing and seeing none. All right.
Could we just clarify the variances that are required for the new, for the alternate?
Require a lot width at the street line. The ordinance requires 66-foot minimum. We would be at 50. It would require the lot width at the front yard setback. One lot would be 59.2, and the other lot would be 60.7, where 100 foot is required.
And those are the only, just those two repeated for, okay.
Correct. It's two, I can't quite say mirror image because the numbers are slightly different, but
Yeah.
they're the same variance for each proposed lot, which is total of 4. And then if I may, counsel, I think that would leave us, if the board were to move favorably on the alternate plan, as conditions of approvals, it'd be to confirm with the township forester, the LOI, the Highlands app, and updating, obviously, the plans to the separate sheet for preliminary, separate sheet for final, lot numbers and addresses to be updated per the tax record, and show the wood split rail fence on the delineation lines for the wetlands, and to have a condition for the driveway on proposed lot 20.01 to also be flipped on that side where there would be no windows, similar to how we're showing the driveway on proposed lot 2002.
Mr. Chairman, there's substantial grading work, site improvements, coordination with Highlands, right-of-way improvements for drainage, tying into the existing system. I would suggest that that these plans come back in a more detailed fashion than this concept plan before taking taking action.
We changed.
All right, so what we're gonna do is, what are we doing?
How much time do you need to submit a revised plan? Then we could carry the application. That's what you're saying?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Right now, I'm gonna guess probably 3 to 4 weeks. We're just swamped.
All right, Nora, when do we have, time available in a month?
No, figure a month and a half,
Month
because you're
plus
gonna
10
want
days, yeah.
it before the meeting to review.
That's true.
November 2nd. Oh, wait a minute, Tom. Oh, okay, hold on, I apologize. November 3rd.
Is that satisfactory to you?
Yeah, it's a little bit tight, but I'll push the ties.
If we need to, we could always
Yeah.
carry it further.
I mean, just for clarity though, so board engineer is satisfied, if it takes him to do those, that's gonna be when I can do the resubmission for county and Highlands, so we probably won't have any responses back.
It's up to you. I just feel like there's not enough
Yeah.
meat in this
No.
concept plan to, there's just too many unknowns to give an approval and leave it as conditions.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
There's too many.
You still want to go with November 3rd, or would you prefer a later date?
Well, I mean, my only concern is if you'd like to see some feedback, I think we'd have to go
Feedback?
from the county and Highlands, because
I'm more concerned about having your application updated based on this configuration.
Anything would be conditional on their approval.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
I heard what he said, I just wanted to be transparent. So, yeah, I'm fine with November 3rd is.
I can give you November 17th or either December date. I have nothing.
What's more comfortable for you, Fred, so we can get it in?
Obviously, the longer is always more comfortable, but I will.
November
I think I can make
17th is
3rd.
right before the league.
Because I think it's either November or December, if I heard Nora correctly.
There's a December 1st and December 8th,
Or November 17th, you said.
which is right before the week. Somebody said.
Just keep that.
I mean, if you want to make it the 3rd or the 17th, I'd be happy with either one.
Well, you're the one committing. I mean, client always wants sooner. So November 3rd is what the client would like.
All right. Is there a motion to carry this case to November 3rd?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Or would you call the roll, please?
Piero,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Dinsmore.
Yes. All right, and I'm assuming all tolling of time and all these other things
Yes,
go
it's
along with that.
stipulated to, correct.
Stipulated to.
Consented.
There isn't anybody here from the public, but I'm going to say it for the record. This case is being carried to November 3rd without further public notice. So if anybody is interested in or watching this on the television right now because they're nearby, you're not going to receive further notice that this case has been carried to November 3rd. This is your notice, basically. And I guess that closes today's portion of our effort. And you're carried to November 3rd.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board at this time?
Just a motion to adjourn.
Hearing and seeing none, a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I've got a motion and a second. Anybody opposed?
No, I don't oppose.
All right, we are adjourned.
Yeah, we don't have to keep these plans either, because they're no good, right?
Yeah, but keep the professionally.
Yeah.
Yep.
So probably the week before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I got my notice of 60 days out, so I'm in my kids, you know, interest rates to drop if it can.
Well, they're headed that way at the moment, but
Yeah.
they've surprised us before.
Well, I locked in, and part of that is.
Thank you, Andrew.
October 12th.
We got to where we needed to go.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, professionals.
If I slow down, I still have to add. So it needs some really.
Oh, my God.
Right now.
Ah, you do
So
what you can
On
do.
your
We'll
mind.
see. I mean, I got a 2-1 buyback, so my first 2
I
years.
do, that little white dog.
My daughter's hoping for lower rates at
Yes,
this
it's
point.
right now.
So,
I hope for that, for her.
I'm glad that we came to that conclusion. I was quite,
Yeah, I'll say the part was more, she was watching at night. You guys have a good night. Just want
Yeah, that may be tight.
well, fortunately, Olivia did the job. I was, there was no way.